You must be a great pianist, huh? She said with a malicious grin. Emily, my eldest son's wife, said this to me with a mean-spirited smile. At this family gathering, it seems her aim is to make me embarrass myself. As an elite music conservatory graduate and her only source of pride, Emily is desperate to take over the grand piano in my house. I, too, was reaching the end of my patience. My name is Margaret, and I turned 60 this year. My husband has passed away, and my 3 sons each have their own families now. I currently live alone in a house that is too large for just one person. I guess that makes me what you'd call a solitary senior, but fortunately, my eldest son and his wife, Emily, live nearby. It's reassuring to know that I can consult them if there's any trouble. Ideally, I should sell this large house and move to a smaller apartment or condo suitable for living alone. But there's a reason I can't move. It's the grand piano that my late husband gifted me. As long as this piano is here, I probably won't leave this house. However, this grand piano has been a source of friction. My eldest son's wife is named Emily. And she's the one causing all these problems. She's a woman who seems to flaunt her elite music conservatory background, and I found her a bit hard to deal with from the first meeting. But since she was the woman my son chose, I didn't impose my opinions. The couple had a hurried wedding, and I remember how quickly their marriage happened. However, it turned out that the pregnancy was a misunderstanding. I was utterly astounded, but my good-natured eldest son comforted her, saying, "Everyone makes mistakes. There are ulterior motives in women that men can't see." I think Emily desperately wanted to marry my eldest son, John. It might sound odd coming from a parent, but my son John really is the complete package, tall, well-off, and handsome. Plus, he has such a calm and kind personality. I believe she took advantage of his kindness, and I just couldn't bring myself to like her. It seems Emily also finds me difficult. She tries to respect me as her mother-in-law, but I can see right through her disdain. Perhaps it stems from my hobby of playing the piano. I have never played the piano in front of her. Several times, she has challenged me, saying, "I would like to hear you play," but I have always refused. I played the piano for my late husband. That was my intention then and will be forever. I didn't want to explain all this to her. Why should I sit at the piano, only to be sneered at with her condescending smirk? Every time we meet, she makes these remarks, and I'm truly fed up. Just last week, I had another unpleasant experience with Emily. Although it's reassuring to have each other's houses nearby, it's a bit of a problem since we share the same neighbors. Emily loves gossip and has a habit of spreading all sorts of rumors. At the time of her marriage, she told the neighbors that I was vehemently opposed to their wedding, which caused her so much stress that she miscarried. However, she wasn't pregnant at all, so a miscarriage was impossible. Moreover, she's trying to play the tragic heroine, casting me as the villain who stressed her out by opposing the marriage. Emily, have you been spreading lies to the neighbors? Even though it was early in their marriage, I couldn't just turn a blind eye to this. So, I confronted her about it. Emily looked a bit guilty at first, but eventually became defiant, smiling her usual sneer. "How terrible of you. I don't know where you heard such rumors, but it's awful that you believe others over me. Am I still not part of the family?" She, adept with words, turned the accusation around on me. She even put on a tearful performance. I was completely taken aback by this. To think she could lie so blatantly and shamelessly. This issue eventually reached my son John's ears, and it ended with me being gently admonished. Though I was dissatisfied, I decided to let it go, considering it happened early in their marriage. In mother-in-law and daughter-in-law issues, I always seem to be at a disadvantage. To avoid further rumors, I decided to endure it this time. And recently, a similar incident occurred. One morning, I noticed the neighbors change their expressions upon seeing me. Their reaction made me immediately suspect something had happened. Their reaction was exactly the same as before. "Good morning." When I greeted them, they dispersed like scattered spiderlings. This made me feel that another strange rumor was being spread about me. When I returned home, I immediately contacted a neighbor with whom I'm close. "Sorry for calling this early in the morning," I began, explaining what happened and asking if she had heard any strange rumors about me. She hesitated but eventually revealed the new rumor. It was an absurd claim that I had shortened my husband's life. Apparently, the rumor was that I had a habit of wasting money, and my husband had to keep working past retirement, leading to his death from overwork. However, my husband had already passed away before Emily joined the family. She couldn't possibly know anything about him. After hearing my explanation, the neighbor agreed, saying, "That's true indeed." She decided to help clear up the misunderstanding among the other neighbors. I felt a bit relieved that the rumor might not spread further. But then, my anger towards Emily started boiling over. After marrying, Emily quit her job to become a full-time housewife. Apparently bored during the day, she often gathered young housewives in the neighborhood for gossip sessions. Lacking daily conversation topics, she must have casually spread these malicious rumors about me. Thinking about her using my late husband for entertainment infuriated me. After finishing breakfast, I decided to visit my eldest son's house. I believe I arrived at my eldest son's house around 9:30 a.m. By that time, my son John had already left for work. When I called out at the entrance, a disheveled Emily appeared from the bedroom. "Emily, were you sleeping until now?" I asked, surprised. "It's inconvenient when you visit without notice." "What is it, so early in the morning?" Emily grumbled, clearly annoyed. The living room she led me to was messy and uncleaned. Even though I live nearby, I try not to interfere with my son and his wife's life, so I don't often visit their house. But this situation was simply too much. "I apologize for not contacting you first. It was an urgent matter, so I'm sorry about that," I said, offering an apology before getting to the main point. "Couldn't you have settled this over the phone? Why bother coming all the way here?" Emily clearly found my visit distasteful. She sat deeply in the sofa in her pajamas, crossing her legs. It almost felt like she was looking down on me. Facing Emily, I struggled to contain my rising anger. I calmly asked her about the rumors, trying not to raise my voice. To this, she snickered, "Oh, that matter? Can you explain what you mean?" "I'd prefer you not spread strange rumors," I said. "What?" "But it's the truth, isn't it?" Emily retorted, smirking again. "On what basis are you saying such things?" My tone became harsher, driven by her attitude. But she seemed smugly unfazed. "That grand piano is the proof. You begged your husband for it, right? I've never even seen you play it." Emily accused me of being wasteful for insisting on a grand piano that I supposedly don't play. Emily understands the value of that piano. It's expected, given she's an elite music conservatory graduate. Don't you think it's the epitome of wastefulness to ask for a piano you can't play? "I feel sorry for your late husband," Emily said, fully mocking me. Her attitude left me speechless. As I remained silent, she laughed, "Can't argue because it's true, right?" I couldn't bring myself to share the precious story of me and my husband with such a woman. The thought of our memories being tainted by her made me stay silent. "So you go silent when it's inconvenient?" I stood up from the sofa and said, "Sorry to bother you," said to Emily. She laughed triumphantly. Her laughter pierced my back as I left the living room. Frustrated and upset, I cried when I got home. Since that rumor incident, I've kept my distance from my eldest son and his wife. Honestly, I never want to see Emily's face again. I do feel sorry for my son John. But imagining him caught between his wife Emily and me in mother-in-law and daughter-in-law issues, I thought it best to keep my distance. However, there are times when avoidance is impossible. Those times are traditional holidays and New Year's. This year, I'm celebrating my 60th birthday. John contacted me about having a celebration. My second and third sons and their families living out of state were also coming home. Other relatives, like my husband's sister, would also gather to celebrate my 60th birthday. I was truly happy to see my sons, daughters-in-law, and grandchildren, who I don't get to see often. For this day, I decided to turn a blind eye to Emily. I convinced myself of this. From the day before my 60th birthday celebration, my grandchildren from out of state started to arrive, filling the house with excitement. Usually alone, the sudden increase in people was overwhelming. My grandchildren were all energetic, running around the house. Among them, my second son's daughter quietly observed my piano. "Do you like the piano?" I asked her, and she nodded. I remembered being consulted by my daughter-in-law, the wife of my second son, about her extreme shyness and reserved nature. She seems to be worried because she has trouble making friends even in kindergarten. "How about playing it?" I suggested. My granddaughter's face lit up at my words. When I opened the lid of the keyboard, she hesitantly reached out her hand. As I seated her at the piano, she asked in a small voice, "Can I play?" "Of course, go ahead," I encouraged her. My granddaughter pressed a key with her little finger. A beautiful sound echoed. She seemed surprised by the spread of the sound. Repeatedly placing her fingers on the keys, she closed her eyes to savor the sound and its resonance. Watching her profile, I thought to myself that I could pass on the piano to this girl. Hearing the piano, my daughter-in-law, the wife of my second son, peeked in, saying, "Sorry to interrupt." Surprised by the sudden appearance of her mother, my granddaughter returned from her world of music. It seems she likes the piano. Is she taking piano lessons? When I asked my daughter-in-law, she replied that they hadn't started piano lessons yet. She mentioned they couldn't afford it due to financial constraints. Indeed, the family of my second son is quite large. They are raising 5 children. Their financial strain is probably a reality. I see. Feel free to rely on us more. Don't be shy. My daughter-in-law nodded happily at my words and said, "Thank you." I felt like brewing some of my confidence into a potion for Emily. I wondered who was playing. With a loud voice and without any reservation, Emily entered the room. Glancing at my granddaughter seated at the piano, she scolded, "This is not a toy. This piano is not for children to touch. You don't understand its value. How dare you play without being able to?" Emily tried to push my granddaughter aside by the shoulder. My granddaughter seemed to think she had been scolded and got off the chair with a frightened look. Then, she immediately hid behind her mother, my second son's wife. "This piano is only for music elites like me to touch. It's not a toy for children or the elderly." The last comment was clearly a dig at me. My daughter-in-law quietly took my granddaughter out to the garden. Watching them leave with crossed arms, Emily moved to sit on the now empty chair in front of the piano. I instinctively closed the keyboard lid. I just couldn't bear to let her touch my precious piano. It was a sudden action, but Emily glared at me. "This piano holds precious memories with my husband. I don't want someone who would push a child aside to play it." "Sorry." Facing the glaring Emily, I smiled gently. She clicked her tongue. She must have felt my strong intention not to let her play. "Let me say this, it's a waste for you to have this piano. Don't you think it's more suitable for someone like me? I can take it off your hands." Her eyes weren't smiling as she said this. I realized Emily was serious. The following night, all my relatives gathered for my 60th birthday celebration. It had been a long time since everyone, except for my eldest son and his wife, returned home. My sons and their wives celebrated my 60th birthday grandly. Being celebrated by everyone was more delightful than I had imagined. The celebration was lively, especially after receiving a song as a gift from my grandchildren. After the children's song ended and everyone applauded, Emily suddenly raised her voice. "Let's have her play the piano." Although Emily tried to seem like she just thought of it, I could tell she was waiting for a chance to embarrass me. Hearing Emily's words, my sons also exclaimed, "We've never heard her play either." I only ever played the piano when I was alone with my husband. None of my sons had heard me perform. "With such a wonderful piano, I'm sure you can play beautifully," Emily said with her usual smirking smile. "I'm afraid my playing would only spoil your ears. It's too embarrassing to perform at such a celebratory occasion." I tried to deflect with modesty, but Emily's attacks didn't stop. "Oh. You have such an expensive piano even though you can't play? Then I guess it's true what they say about wasteful spending." "The rumors must be true," she jeered. Even my eldest son, usually patient, sharply said, "Hey," at her behavior. But Emily wasn't someone to be stopped by mere words. John, looking troubled, glanced at me. "I guess I have no choice. Today is special, after all." Unable to bear seeing my son troubled any longer, I walked towards the piano. With light, quick footsteps, my piano-loving granddaughter, Emma, rushed to my side and clung close to me. Her face was alight with excitement, clearly looking forward to hearing me play. Her cheeks were slightly flushed with excitement. "I'm looking forward to it. I bet you can only play easy ones." Emily mocked as I opened the keyboard lid and sat down. The other daughters-in-law frowned at her attitude. Emily isn't very popular among the daughters-in-law. It's not surprising, given how she often uses her status as the eldest son's wife to boss around the others. The keys, untouched for so long, felt cold and comforting. I had been keeping the piano well-tuned, ready to be played at any time. I flexed my wrists a bit before letting my fingers glide over the keys. The first piece I played was Chopin's Ballade No. 4 in F minor, Op. 52. It's a challenging composition that begins gently and soon requires tremendous technical skill. Emily, realizing what I was playing, froze with a shocked expression. Playing the piano after so long made all the unpleasantness seem insignificant. I played several technically demanding pieces that my husband had loved, ending with a jazz arrangement of a song from my grandchildren's favorite anime. When I finished, the relatives burst into applause, praising me. Emma hugged my knees, excitedly exclaiming, "Amazing! Amazing!" The only one with a dissatisfied expression was Emily. I smiled at her. Mom really was a pianist. I thought Dad was joking. My eldest son said, a bit excited. I had kept my past as a pianist a secret from my sons, especially my eldest. After graduating from a music conservatory in Vienna and beginning my career as a pianist, I met my husband and had my eldest son. Faced with the choice between the piano and my husband, my mother-in-law pressured me, and after much deliberation, I chose my husband and my eldest son. To ensure my eldest son never felt burdened by this decision, my husband and I kept the whole truth hidden. After I declared I would never touch the piano again, my husband, wanting me to play just for him, bought this piano for me. Later, I learned that my mother-in-law had also played a role in the purchase of the piano. As compensation for taking away my dream, she and my husband had worked together to find and buy this piano for me. To me, this piano represents the bond with my husband and the love from my mother-in-law. I had no intention of giving it away to someone who only saw its monetary value. By the way, I've never heard Emily play either. Mom, would you mind if Emily played a piece? My eldest son asked me. Emily graduated from an elite music conservatory, right? Have you really never heard her play? I was a bit surprised by my eldest son's words. Come to think of it, there is no piano in my eldest son's household. This struck me as somewhat unnatural. Emily, could you play something for us? I'd like to hear it too, I said as I stood up, offering her the seat at the piano. However, Emily didn't move to sit down. Just the other day, she was eager to sit there, but now she was backing away as if scared. Her face had turned pale. I'm not feeling well today, so... She tried to excuse herself and escape the situation. Are you feeling unwell? You were eating and drinking just fine earlier. Is there a reason you can't play the piano? I pressed her, half in disbelief. Emily mumbled some excuses. I can't believe it, but it's not like your elite music conservatory graduation was also a lie, right? At my words, Emily visibly flinched. You're just saying that? Are you lying about everything but the pregnancy? I raised my voice in surprise. Emily's face went paler, and she looked like she might collapse. You mean to say, even your music conservatory graduation was a lie? My eldest son also questioned her in shock. Emily was silent, lost for words. The youngest, a 3-year-old grandchild, toddled over and pulled the flyer out of Emily's back pocket. Then, innocently, they handed it to me, saying, "Here you go." Maybe it was their small way of trying to help in this tense situation. I smiled and said, "Thank you," as I took the flyer, which left me astonished. The flyer was for high-value purchases of used pianos. On it, a buyback price was written in ballpoint pen, probably confirmed over the phone. Emily, you were planning to sell off my piano. I realized, reaching my limit. I yelled at Emily and passed the flyer around to the relatives. The relatives peered at the flyer and looked at Emily with disbelief. Unable to withstand their gaze, she fled, running back to her own home. The most pitiful person in this uproar was my eldest son. His wife, whom he had believed in, was proven to be a big liar. I couldn't find the words to console him. Afterwards, my eldest son and Emily divorced. Apparently, my son had reached his limit with Emily's repeated lies. Moreover, she had a habit of overspending and had amassed a considerable debt, which she kept secret from my son. She intended to pay off this debt with the money from selling my piano. Upon learning of Emily's debt repayment plan, my eldest son promptly filed for divorce. Emily, whose marriage was built on lies, is now jobless and has retreated to her parents' home. I hear debt collectors visit her family's house daily. Afterwards, I decided to open a small piano school. A few children from the neighborhood are attending my piano classes. The piano, played by these children, seems to be producing joyous sounds. My granddaughter has also started attending my piano classes. Moved by my performance, my second son's wife was greatly impressed and decided to enroll her child in piano lessons. I am providing financial assistance for the piano school's tuition. The previously quiet house is now filled with the voices of children, making it much livelier. I think my husband would be pleased too. Has she not yet realized it? She has no clue at all. She went to work even today. She's so silly. When I returned home early from my part-time job due to feeling unwell, I found my husband, Tom, and my best friend, Lisa, in the midst of an affair in our bed. They didn't notice me. So, I recorded a video and sent it to Lisa's husband, Rick. Rick and I were classmates in college. We hatched a plan together. If we do this, let's make fun of them, I thought. Following Rick's suggestion, I played a little trick on the two of them. The sight of Tom and Lisa flustered was amusing. When I confronted them with divorce, the real reason Lisa had approached Tom was revealed. I was utterly disgusted by the reason and quickly fell out of love. My name is Julie, I'm 28 years old. We've been married for 2 years. Tom is the same age as me. We met in a college club. It was a travel club where we'd go on trips whenever we had time. But we were college students. Money was tight. So naturally, our trips were dirt cheap, and we always traveled by rental car. I often ended up in the same car as Tom. Later, I learned that this had been orchestrated. Back then, it was well known among the male members that Tom had a crush on me. I was completely oblivious to this for 4 years. We always end up staying in the same car, don't we?
Yeah,
we do. I'm sorry I can't drive instead of you. I'm not very good at driving. No worries. I like it. I liked Tom's kindness. But back then, I couldn't tell if it was love or just friendship. In the end, we never dated during our 4 years at college. After graduation and a year into our careers, we had a reunion with club members. That's where I reconnected with Tom, and we started seeing each other since our offices were close. On our 3rd dinner together, he confessed to me. I've been actually into you since our 1st year. I remember being incredibly happy when I heard that. It was then that I realized I liked Tom too. And so, we started dating. I immediately told my best friend, Lisa, about us. She knew Tom from the same club. Lisa was like the idol of our university, always having a boyfriend on campus. But she never dated anyone from the club. It'd be awkward to continue joining in club activities if things went wrong with a guy. She used to say things like that. Indeed, it wouldn't be great to have an ex in the travel club. Wouldn't it be awkward having so many exes in university? I can ignore that easily, but club activity is different. I was happy she prioritized our club activities and friendship. I became friends with Lisa at the entrance ceremony, as we were seated next to each other. She was beautiful, approachable, and dazzling to me. Even after becoming a working adult, Lisa and I continued to meet frequently. Wait, Tom? Seriously? Lisa was surprised but happy for me. He said he's been into me since our 5th year. When I shared this, Lisa seemed taken aback. Since our first year? Really? I expected her to be more excited, which threw me off. So, are you serious about dating him? Are you okay with that, Julie? Of course, I am. I like him. He's so sweet. I couldn't shake off this feeling of unease. I had heard that Lisa had just gotten engaged, so maybe she was experiencing pre-wedding jitters. I convinced myself of this and ended the call. Lisa had been planning to marry a classmate she started dating in her senior year of college. He was the one she had always said she liked. I don't want to work. So I'll get married immediately and want to be a housewife. She used to say things like that. I thought she was half joking, but it seemed she was serious. Lisa quit her job as soon as she got engaged. Sometime later, Lisa suggested something. Why don't we have dinner with Tom and my husband? All of us are friends from the same university. Her husband's name is Rick. Rick and I were in the same seminar group, so we were friends. Tom and Rick didn't know each other. Sounds good. I'll ask him. The dinner party was arranged quickly. Lisa was quite proactive in organizing it, which was unusual for her, but she seemed to enjoy it. I felt relieved, thinking she had finally gotten over her pre-wedding blues. However, that dinner started to create a rift between Lisa and me. Initially, Tom and I planned a surprise wedding celebration for Lisa and Rick. I wanted to celebrate more for them, but Lisa quickly changed the subject. Thanks. But I'd love to listen to the story about two of you. I worried she didn't really appreciate the wedding celebration. She didn't even look at the gift we gave her, just put it on the floor and started asking about our dates and what Tom liked about me. She asked many uncomfortable questions, and Rick even had to intervene. Lisa, are you drunk? I'm not drunk. Oh, shall I let you know the secret about Julie? I got nervous about what Lisa might say. Julie wasn't popular at all in the college. She was always flattering a middle-aged professor. What? Really? For real? Can you believe it? There's no guy but him around her. I didn't flatter anyone. Oh, no. Haven't you ever sat on his lap, have you? What do you mean? Tom looked at me with a disdainful expression, and my heart sank. No, that's not. I stumbled and accidentally fell on his lap. Everyone laughed at it. Oh, I saw that. How clumsy she was, wasn't she? With Rick's help, the conversation eventually turned into a joke. However, Lisa continued to bring up a girl I once said I wasn't fond of, exaggerating the story. Don't you remember the girl who you used to speak ill of almost every day? Wasn't that you, Lisa? Stop it. Don't blame me for the words you said to me. The atmosphere got increasingly tense. Tom looked at me with sad eyes. It wasn't like that at all. I couldn't understand why Lisa was demeaning me like this. We parted ways awkwardly that night. On the way home, I desperately tried to explain myself to Tom. You don't have to be so upset. Everyone enjoys gossips a bit. He said with a laugh, but I knew he felt conflicted inside. But it was Lisa who spread those things. Hey, stop it. It's a shame that you didn't bring it up then and mention it now. I was left speechless. I could tell I was increasingly being put at a disadvantage. Sometime later, Lisa and Rick's wedding took place. Both Tom and I were invited. Lisa looked beautiful at the wedding, but I couldn't manage a genuine smile. Half a year after Lisa's wedding, Tom proposed to me. By then, I had completely forgotten about the things Lisa had said. I was at the pinnacle of happiness. I sent a wedding announcement and invitation to Lisa, just in case. I hadn't been in touch much since the wedding, so I was a bit nervous, but Lisa was delighted. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to your wedding. I thought perhaps Lisa had forgotten about that incident. So I vowed to forget it too. Before the wedding, I waited for Lisa, but she didn't show up. Other friends mentioned they had seen her earlier, but she never appeared in the bridal room. I tried not to worry too much, knowing not all friends can make it. But then, even Tom, the groom, was missing. The staff went to look for him but couldn't find him. As the ceremony time approached, I went to the venue alone. There, I found Tom already there. And Lisa was with him. My heart fluttered uneasily. Why were the two of them together? Perhaps it was just because they were friends. But they seemed too close for comfort. I approached them with the best smile I could muster. Tom, you are already here? I was waiting for Lisa in the bridal room. Tom looked nervous and restless when he saw me. Wow, Julie, you look gorgeous. Right, Tom? I wondered when their relationship had become so intimate. I was absorbed in talking with Tom that I forgot to get to you. Lisa said nonchalantly, smiling. With the wedding about to start, I felt my face stiffen. After the wedding, Tom and I had a big fight. I don't want you to be intimate with Lisa anymore. What? Why? Lisa is your best friend, isn't she? Tom sighed heavily. Even if you are a friend of hers, is that so bad? Lisa is a popular choice among men because of her ability to appeal to them. Your best friend does not deserve your bad attitude, so don't speak badly of her. I was shocked. I could only imagine that Lisa must have been filling Tom's head with all sorts of things behind my back. Frustrated, I ended up saying something that sounded like a test. Do you regret for marrying me? I might. I wanted him to deny it. I wanted him to say that wasn't the case. This was right after our wedding. I felt like this issue would haunt us forever. Our marriage seemed to have started on a bad note. Not wanting to argue with Tom further, I kept my growing frustrations to myself. After our marriage, I quit my full-time job and started working part-time at the same company. I was assigned to a store where my main role was customer service. Being a former full-time employee, I was entrusted with various tasks and it kept me busy. But I always made sure to return home before Tom to take care of the housework alone. In the midst of my busy life, I completely forgot about Lisa. Or more accurately, I kept myself busy to avoid thinking about her. I was trying to convince myself that my married life was going well. Then one day, I overexerted myself with work and household chores and fell ill. But my workplace was short-staffed and I couldn't take time off. I had been pushing myself to go to work despite feeling unwell. So, I decided to cut corners at home. Just buying ready-made meals and letting the laundry pile up a bit. However, Tom didn't tolerate even that. Hey, why haven't you finished the laundry? I need it for tomorrow. Sorry. I didn't know that. Could you please manage the house properly? I don't want to eat such poor food after working all day. Saying this, Tom left somewhere. I had told him I was feeling unwell. But instead of showing concern, he demanded perfection in household chores. Where had the kind Tom gone? I never thought marriage would be this hard. Despite feeling ill, I went to work. Jason, the manager, noticed my pale and shaky condition and suggested that I go home and take a rest. I think he said that because the store was relatively quiet that day. I thought it would get busier, but I couldn't risk collapsing and causing more trouble. So, I accepted his offer. I went to the doctor, got some medicine, and feeling extremely unwell, I stopped at a cafe on the way to take the medicine with some light food. Then I headed home. Passing by my house, I noticed the bedroom curtains were closed. I was sure I had left them open in the morning, which seemed odd. Would it be a burglar? I was scared and thought about calling the police, but then I reasoned that I might have forgotten to open the curtains due to my illness. Just to be sure, I quietly entered the house. That's when I heard a woman's voice. Huh? Whose voice is this? I'm curious. I peeked through the slightly open bedroom door and saw Lisa straddling Tom. They were in the midst of an affair. My mind went blank. Why were Tom and Lisa together? I wondered how long this affair had been going on. As I sat there in shock, I overheard their conversation. Has she not yet realized it? She has no clue at all. She went to work even today. She's so silly. She marries me without knowing about us, her head is full of clouds. From their talk, I understood that their relationship started before our marriage. But why then did he marry me? I wish I had started dating you earlier and married you instead. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Aren't you going to leave your husband? Nah. I find this affair to be more exciting. I felt sick listening to their conversation. I was furious. I took out my phone and aimed the camera towards them. I decided to secretly record the two of them in the act. Lisa and Tom were so engrossed in each other that they didn't notice me at all. I recorded them for almost an hour, during which they continued to mock Rick and me. Rick is probably unaware that his wife is at a house owned by someone else during the middle of the day. He's working without any clue. Feeling nauseous, I stepped outside. Rick was my friend. It was infuriating to hear him spoken of in such a way. I sent Rick a part of the video. I was supposed to be dizzy from fever, but either the medicine was kicking in or adrenaline was clearing my head due to anger. I was contemplating my next move. While I was debating whether to confront them, Rick called me. So they ended up having an affair. So? Did you know that? I agreed to meet Rick. Is it okay with your work? Yeah, I intend to leave work earlier. Can't miss this opportunity. He directed me to a specific pub, where Lisa and Tom often had their secret meetings. Have you been tracking it? This will always happen here, that's for sure. Rick had been investigating them for quite some time and had complete information, including photos of them enjoying their affair. Let's make fun of them before asking for their response. How? Just see how it goes. Soon enough, Lisa and Tom arrived. I was nervous about being spotted, but it seemed they couldn't see us, although we had a clear view. Rick stated confidently, "This is the perfect surveillance spot." He seemed to be enjoying this. Seeing my agitation, Rick appeared very dependable. Once they settled in, Rick called Lisa. "Hey, Lisa. Where are you?" Right now? I'm close to a supermarket near my home. Good. I'm about to head home. I'll pick you up. It's okay. You don't have to come here. I'll come for shopping with you once in a while. See you soon. Lisa's panicked voice was audible. What should I do? Rick is coming home. Really? I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Rick also had a mischievous smile on his face. I hadn't expected this side of him. Rick was actually the most popular among the girls in our class. When I heard he was dating Lisa, many girls were shocked. Julie, you should do that too. Encouraged by Rick, I called Tom. Tom? Where are you? Where else? I'm at work. It's pretty noisy there. I'm currently in a meeting. Claiming he was in a meeting was far-fetched. Tom must have realized his mistake. His expression said it all. Okay. I'm actually in front of your office. Let's go home together. What? I'll be working late today. Go home alone. Oh really? But I see someone from your office. I'll go say hi to him. Bye. Wait. I hung up after saying just that. Watching them, we saw both Lisa and Tom in a panic. Rick and I enjoyed observing their frantic behavior. When they hurried out, we confronted them, blocking their way. Both were speechless, shocked to see us there. Aren't you at the office? Did you get transported here from the supermarket? Did you lie to us? How could you be so cruel? Ignoring their own faults, Lisa and Tom accused us of lying. Who's the most cruel? Who cheated on us? Cheated? What are you talking about? I don't understand. We know everything. Rick nodded in agreement. Seeing this, Lisa turned red with anger and yelled at me. Rick is supposed to be at work, right? Julie. You cheated my husband. In fact, I asked her to come here. Rick, you're defending Julie. Lisa couldn't stand the idea of Rick and me teaming up, shaking with rage. Don't change the subject. You stole my husband. Exactly. We are aware of your affair. That's what we're talking about. It's not true. We're just friends. I actually had something to talk to him. I revealed that we knew they were cheating. Still, they insisted they were just friends. So, I showed them the video I recorded earlier. What is this? When did you capture this recording? A surveillance camera or something? The shaking in this image indicates that I recorded it by myself. From the fact that they hadn't realized the video was taken today, it became clear that Lisa's visits to our home weren't limited to just this day. Imagining them together in my own bed every day made me feel sick. I've decided to divorce Tom, I declared. I'm going to divorce Lisa too. After that, you can do whatever you want. Rick added. Their reactions were polar opposites. Tom was pleased, while Lisa broke down in tears. Lisa. Great. Now that we can get married. What are you talking about? I don't want to divorce Rick. Wait, what? Tom was confused by Lisa's words. Hey. What are you talking about? You said you wanted to marry me if Rick divorced you. Shut up. Be quiet. Lisa then turned to Rick, pleading. Rick, I'm sorry. All I have is you. Did I ever say I didn't want to get divorced? It's all Tom's fabrication. He's living in a fantasy that scared me, she claimed. Hey. What are you talking about? Don't fabricate things. Lisa started spouting easily debunkable lies to protect herself. I wanted to point out that it was her living in a fantasy world. But apparently this video shows that you were having fun. This doesn't mean it. Tom forced me to do this. What? You said it'd be more exciting to stay in Julie's bed. That explained it. Lisa wasn't actually in love with Tom, she just wanted to win over me. Moreover, she had the confidence that she could win. I remembered something. A couple among our university classmates had formed. There was a couple among our classmates who seemed very much in love. But a month later, the guy was dating Lisa. The girl was devastated. When I asked Lisa if she had stolen him, she said, I had only a week to date him because he asked me. But it's already over. At the time, I thought the guy was entirely at fault, but now it was clear this was a pattern for Lisa. I hadn't realized it until I became directly involved. Lisa hated seeing others happy. Lisa, you wouldn't be into Tom from the beginning, would you? Of course not. I only have Rick for myself. Hey. What the hell, Lisa? You first caught my attention. As expected, it was Lisa who initiated everything. According to Tom, the day after our four-person dinner, Lisa contacted him saying she wanted to talk. It was under the pretense of being concerned about me, but it was all lies aimed at belittling me. Julie is fond of flirting with men who are easily deceived. I'm worried she might get herself into trouble. Really? I never had that impression of her. She treats men and women differently. She's a great actor. I didn't know that. I was appalled that Tom believed her so easily. Although you were in a one-sided love with me, you still disappointed me because you trusted her remarks too easily. I didn't trust her at first. But Lisa has shown up to me frequently. What? You said you wanted to see me. This is something that occurs at a later time. As the conversation wasn't leading anywhere, we decided to set a later date to discuss everything properly. I couldn't stand being in the same air as Tom that day, so I decided to go to my parents' house. However, Tom insisted on having a proper talk. Would you ask me to sleep on the bed where you both slept? This remark made Tom go pale. He seemed to finally understand the gravity of what he had done. I'm sorry, I've done something you'd never forgive me for. By the way, I recorded this video today. What? Tom, to my disbelief, began crying on the street. Seeing his pitiful state, I felt my feelings for him completely cool off. I won't go back our home, I'm going to get divorced. No, wait. Please think it over. You've betrayed me before our marriage, haven't you? Do you think we could start over? Besides, you happily get divorced. Lisa tricked me for a moment. I have come to realize how much I love you now. His convenient explanations only fueled my resentment. This whole thing is just a game. I don't mean it. That comment infuriated me. Just a game? Don't be silly with me. You've played with me for more than 2 years. I need my time back, please. I might have shouted too loudly in public. People began to gather and watch. Tom, without any shame, continued crying and begging for forgiveness, but I ignored him. I walked away, leaving the crowd behind. A few days later, Rick and I hired lawyers and proceeded with divorce mediation. Divorce was the only option for both of us. We intended to seek alimony, as we had plenty of evidence. Lisa looked like she had been crying a lot. Her eyes were red and swollen. I knew she truly loved Rick. She had happily reported to me when they started dating. She must not have wanted to divorce at all. And her pride wouldn't allow her to become divorced. I love Rick the best, even now. I don't want to divorce him. I thought it was foolish of her to engage in a casual affair if she really didn't want to divorce. It was nothing but shallow behavior. Just because she couldn't tolerate seeing others happy, she went after her best friend's husband, which is nothing short of crazy. To lose the husband she claimed to love so much over such petty pride is pitiable, but she doesn't deserve any sympathy. Did you just want to win Julie over, right? Regrettably, you have lost her since the very beginning. Rick said. Lisa bit her lip and contorted her face at his words. Julie was the one who was well liked by the boys at college, not you. I was surprised to hear this, having always believed I wasn't attractive. You thought Julie made you more popular. You are an idiot kid. I had attended an all-girls school until high school, and this was the first time someone said I was popular with guys. In retrospect, I realized that Lisa had convinced me that I wasn't attractive. The notion that Lisa was beautiful and popular came only from her own assertions. Now, looking at Lisa, I realized she wasn't as beautiful as I had thought. It was like I had been under mind control. Then Lisa looked at me. Do not view me as pitiful. But you are pitiful. How dare you? From there, Lisa lunged at me. Immediately, Rick stepped in between us. Tom also came a bit late to protect me. It's foolish of both of you to believe such a girl. The one who deceived people is you. I'm a princess. Lisa screamed, leaving us all dumbfounded. That must have been her true belief. Lisa always wanted to behave like a princess, always wanting to be the center of attention. Males shouldn't protect her, she cried out. The lawyer, witnessing this scene, suggested that Lisa should consult a psychiatrist. I'm not going the nuts. It's not like that, it's important to occasionally take time to reflect on yourself, I suggested. But Lisa wouldn't listen to me, so we left it to her parents to decide about the psychiatric consultation. For now, we agreed to have further discussions through our lawyers, and eventually, all 4 of us got divorced. Life was peaceful for a while after the divorce. I enjoyed my single life. I met Rick occasionally. It was a tough time, wasn't it? I agree with you. I'm so relieved now. We could finally talk like that. On my way home from meeting Rick, I encountered a gaunt-looking Tom. What are you doing here? I've come to realize how much I love you. I want to start over with you. Sorry, that's impossible. Why? I'll make you happy next time. I promise. You cheated on me prior to our marriage. How can you make me happy? I regret what I did to you. On the day I caught you, I spent an hour watching you two were loving each other while recording. Tom was at a loss for words. It's impossible anymore. Whenever I see you, you remind of me the sex scene. Don't show up in front of me anymore. Seeing Tom only irritated me. I wanted to get the rest of the alimony and cut ties with him completely. There was another reason for my refusal. I've seen someone who I intend to marry. What? I was dating Jason from work. After my divorce, he was the one who cared for me the most. The night I stumbled upon Lisa and Tom's affair, I collapsed at my parents' house. I was taken by ambulance and ended up needing an AIB. It was just a severe cold, but likely exacerbated by stress. Though I didn't need to be hospitalized, I decided to take some time off from work. Partly due to my health and also because of the divorce proceedings. When I informed my workplace, Jason came to visit me at my parents' house. He showed genuine concern despite the inconvenience I caused at work. I think I can trust him. He is someone who I am meant to marry. Don't say that. I'm always paying attention to you, Julie. I understand you the best. Taking into account, we didn't spend time outside the club. I got married to you without knowing you at all. I didn't even know you had an affair. I wonder if the guy you are seeing might be cheating you behind your back. He might be. But I can trust him better than you. Tom looked deeply hurt by my earnest words. She deceived me. It's not my fault. She is guilty. So are you. She made me believe something wrong, even though my love for you is genuine. It was you who believed her based on her remarks. After our repeated encounters, Tom kept trying to reconcile. But Jason, concerned for me, suggested consulting the police. The police quickly responded, and Tom was no longer able to approach me. I informed Tom's parents, who agreed to monitor him. Thanks to this, Tom stopped appearing in front of me. Later, the remaining alimony was paid in full. It seems Tom's parents paid the remaining alimony on his behalf. In return, Tom had to work under their supervision. He took on a night job in addition to his daytime work, and his parents managed his earnings. While Tom pays his settlement, his mother stated, "I insist him to pay me back." Lisa often showed up where Rick was. He wasn't in a relationship but was dating a woman. Lisa appeared during one of their dinners. Her face a mess of tears and snot, and threw water at Rick's date. "You such a thieving cat. Hey. What are you doing?" Understandably, Rick, concerned about the woman, intervened when Lisa, in her anger, attacked her. The restaurant erupted into chaos. The restaurant staff called the police, and Lisa was taken away. Rick reported Lisa to the police as a stalker. Shocked at being labeled a stalker, Lisa withdrew into her home. Her family accompanied her to psychiatric treatment, and she is currently attending sessions. I heard that she cries and thinks about Tom during the session, saying that, "I can't stand imagining he stays with another woman." Rick once received a letter from Lisa asking for a visit, but he politely declined through her parents. Knowing Rick wouldn't visit or respond, Lisa became even more distressed and agitated. She may likely need to be hospitalized. Her parents lamented their inability to handle her situation. Finally, with the chaos subsiding, I could find peace and focus on my relationship with Jason. Though I hadn't completely overcome my distrust of men, I felt a bit clingy. However, Jason kindly and patiently acknowledged this, continuing discussions until my anxieties were alleviated. I'm still fearful of moving towards marriage. But with Jason, such a future seems possible and worth believing in. My relationship with Rick also remained good. He was pleased when I introduced Jason to him. Surprisingly, Rick ran a company, and Jason had a dream of owning his shop, which led to them getting along well. Despite a 5-year age difference, they bonded over business talks. "Come visit my company sometime," Rick offered. They even made such a promise. He even whispered to me, "I think he's a great guy." I think so too. This time, I want to make my own decisions, without being influenced by others. I'm Lisa, a 28-year-old office worker. Currently, I work at my father's construction company. I am about to have my wedding soon. The groom, Brad, is my college classmate who asked me out. Now, we live together. Brad works at a company in the city, while I work at my father's local company. He commutes by train, but I drive to work. Now, with our wedding just 3 months away, I'm busy with preparations every day. Brad usually gets home around 7 p.m., so I usually take care of the cooking since I get home earlier. On weekends, Brad takes care of cleaning the house and the bathroom. I love cars, especially driving. Thanks to my father's company, I even have a crane license. Being only 5 feet 1 inch tall and having a youthful face, I often surprise people when they see me in work clothes operating a crane on site. Well, I do enjoy seeing their astonished faces. One day, I was about to go shopping by car. I was going with my best friend, Emily. We've been friends since elementary school and even attended the same university. She's my closest confidant. We were heading to a newly opened outlet mall. It's in the neighboring prefecture, a bit far, but we decided to go for a drive. I headed to the convenience store meeting point and met up with Emily. Sorry to keep you waiting, did you wait long? No, I just bought some coffee. Want some, Lisa? Emily's coffee looked tempting, so I took her up on the offer. Thanks, I'll take one. I'll set the navigation in the meantime. Okay. Emily cheerfully agreed and went into the convenience store. While setting the destination on the car navigation, I accidentally pressed the history button. This panel is so unresponsive. Just as I was about to switch the screen. What's this history? The history showed Hotel Lovely Chateau. What's this? Of course, I've never searched for such a place. This is my car, but Brad uses it sometimes. Brad must have used it. Well, it's fine. I didn't dwell on it and continued setting the navigation. Emily and I then headed to the outlet mall. We soon got onto the highway. It was a nice day for a drive. Near an interchange, Emily pointed out, "Look, Hotel Lovely Chateau." Such an outdated name for a hotel, haha. Lovely Chateau, the hotel from the navigation record. I only glanced briefly as I was driving, but there was indeed a big sign for Hotel Lovely Chateau. Really outdated, haha, I laughed along, but the name being in the history did bother me. After Emily and I finished shopping, I dropped her off at her home. Alone, I reached my house and checked the car navigation history again. Searching for Hotel Lovely Chateau, it displayed the location near that interchange again. It was indeed that hotel. That hotel was unmistakably that kind of place. Why did Brad search for that hotel? I decided to keep an eye on Brad's actions. I opted to install a dashcam in my car. I mentioned it to Brad, and he agreed, saying, "Sounds good. Many cars have them nowadays, and it's good for safety. But you should pay for it since it's your car," he added. Even though the car is in my name, Brad uses it too, so I ended up getting him to pay for a part of it. The next day, after work, I drove straight to the dealer to have a dashcam installed in my car. It has cameras for the front, rear, and inside of the car. The recording time is 5 hours, and it overwrites older footage once that limit is exceeded. I also installed a GPS logger as an extra measure. This device records travel details using GPS. After Brad used the car, I checked both the dashcam footage and the GPS logger data. I mainly use the car for commuting, so Brad typically uses it on weekends. Of course, he always asks for my permission beforehand. One weekend, Brad asked, "Can I use the car this Saturday?" "Sure, where are you going?" I asked. He replied, "To the shopping mall you went to. A friend wants to check it out." Which friend? Just a colleague from work. He lives nearby. Is it a woman, by any chance? Of course not, haha. He's a macho guy, much bulkier than me. Well, bring me back a souvenir. Got it. You'd want something to eat, right? Yeah, I'd love something sweet. All right, understood. Then the weekend arrived. As planned, Brad left on Saturday and returned in the evening. Upon returning home, I waited for the perfect moment and then said, "I think I left something in the car." I got into the car and retrieved the memory card and the GPS logger. After Brad went to sleep, I checked the GPS logger and memory card. The GPS logger showed he indeed went to the shopping mall. But on the way back, he made a detour at an interchange. Zooming in on the location, it was Hotel Lovely Chateau. This was clearly a red flag, and our wedding was just next month. I felt my fingers trembling as I operated the device. Still in shock, I composed myself and checked the memory card. I inserted the memory card into my computer and played the recorded footage. What appeared first on the screen was an unfamiliar woman in the passenger seat. She was dressed flamboyantly, with long hair and a pretty look. She seemed older than me but had a youthful smile. I was too shocked to think, just staring at the screen. The conversation was also recorded. "You really are something else. To be doing this with our wedding next month." She laughed and said, "It's fine. I'm marrying her because her dad is the company president. He might be a construction magnate, but he's loaded with money," Brad said. But once you get married, does that mean it's over for us? No way. You're the one for me. I plan to divorce her in about a year. Of course, I'll make it seem like it's her fault. Get a nice settlement and her parents' fortune. Then, I'll be with you. Wait a year? No, we'll keep seeing each other during that time. I can't stand a day without you. That makes me happy. Brad, I love you. I love you too, Megan. I stopped the playback. I couldn't watch any longer. Brad was clearly cheating. And he was marrying me just to take over my father's company? Even when he proposed to me and we spent my birthday at a seaside hotel. It was all a facade. Why? My vision blurred with tears as I looked at the computer screen. The next day, I said I was going home for a while to prepare for the wedding. Brad agreed without much thought. Maybe for Brad, it was a relief to have me gone. I told my parents, I'm feeling a bit uneasy, so I want to spend some time there to calm down. They seemed to think it was just pre-wedding jitters. They happily agreed. A few days later, my best friend, Emily, contacted me. Thinking I could tell Emily the truth, I shared everything with her. Emily said, "Got it. I'm going to Lisa's place today, so let's drink the night away together." Emily, despite her cute appearance, has quite a manly side. But that's what I like about her. I told my parents it was my last party as a single woman. Soon after, Emily arrived with drinks and snacks. "Mom, I'm taking Lisa for tonight. We might get a bit loud, but please bear with us." As soon as she arrived, Emily cracked a joke. "Oh dear, I know you'll be loud, but don't drink too much. Here, I made some stew, take it and eat." My mom had thoughtfully prepared snacks. Wow. Thank you so much. I was wondering what that delicious smell was. It was the stew, wasn't it? Oh, and can I invite one more friend? Of course, make it a party to remember for Lisa. Thank you. So, I called another friend, Hannah. She was a high school classmate. Interestingly, she's now a planner at the wedding venue we booked, and we reconnected there as she's in charge of our wedding. She and Emily went to the same high school and had met a few times, so now they're quite close. Then the three of us, including myself, started the party. I showed them the dashcam recording. Then Emily said, "I know her. She's Megan, a junior from our college club." Lisa wasn't in the club, so you wouldn't know her. But I knew her and Brad from the club. I was shocked to hear this. What? Brad's junior? I thought she was older than me. She's always been mature for her age. But Megan, huh? She's invited to the wedding. Most of our club members are coming. Emily talked while poking at the stewed radish. But it's frustrating to let it end like this. I want to get back at him somehow, said Hannah, crushing an empty beer can. She had a strong sense of justice and even caught a molester in high school and handed him over to the police. Upset as if it were her own matter, she was fuming. Hearing her talk of revenge, Emily began to speak. Let's ruin the wedding then. I have an idea. Saying that, Emily began writing something on a piece of paper. What do you think? We'll need Hannah's help for this. Can you help us, thinking of it as aiding Lisa? Of course. I'm the planner for this wedding, so I can make anything happen. Having Hannah, the planner, on our side significantly increased the chances of our plan's success. Wow, that's reassuring. Hey, you two, don't drink too much. And thus, the plan was finalized. As I covered the sleeping duo with blankets, I said, "Thank you, Emily, Hannah." I had drunk too much myself, but I felt a bit relieved. The next day, I returned to Brad's place. A few days after returning home, I executed our first plan. While watching the recording, Emily had found it. One day after work, I arranged to meet Brad at the station and have dinner outside. We drove to a family restaurant in my car. After dinner, I dropped Brad off at home first and then parked the car. Then, acting utterly surprised and delighted, I went into the living room and said, "Brad, you're so sneaky. Preparing something like this without telling me." Huh? Brad made a weird noise, surprised by my sudden words. This is a present for me, right? I found it in the car. Saying that, I showed Brad the paper bag containing a luxury brand bag. The brand's name was boldly printed on the bag. The rear window of the car was dirty, so I thought of cleaning it. When I went to get the cleaning tools from under the back seat, I found this. Oh Brad, you were trying to surprise me by hiding it there, right? Sorry, I found it, haha. I feigned joy and pretended to be thrilled. That's... Brad stammered. Eh? Is there someone else you would give something like this to? Haha, silly me. There's no one else for me but you, Lisa. Ha ha ha. That's right. You bought it for me, didn't you? How much was it? Around $2,000? Thank you. Yes. It's a limited edition, cost about $5,000, I guess? Well, I thought it would suit you, Lisa. It was meant to be a surprise. Oh well, haha. Huh. It seems a bit youthful, but I can still pull it off, right? Of course. Any bag suits you, Lisa. Haha. Hey, that's not exactly a compliment. Sorry. I'll treasure it. Thanks a lot. Haha. When I heard his final sigh, I had to try hard not to laugh. In the party video, I had seen Brad being pestered by Megan for an expensive bag. Later, I confirmed that he bought the luxury bag and hid it under the rear seat of the car. I found it and claimed it as mine. At dinner that evening, Brad kept sighing. Serves him right. A few days later, my father called. He had indulged in one of his bad habits. He had bought a new car. My father has always loved cars and has owned several. He said that while driving on the national highway after work, he stopped in front of a used car center and impulsively bought a car he had always admired, thinking he'd never get another chance. Dad, Mom must have been mad, right? Getting scolded is nothing. Listen, it's a discontinued Type R. I've always wanted this car. I couldn't miss this opportunity. I can't wait for it to be delivered. Geez. You never think about the consequences. What will you do with your current car? I'll give it to you. It's still in good shape. It's way better than these flimsy new cars. The hatchback, right? I've been getting bored of my current one, haven't I? Just sell that thing. What's the fun in driving an automatic, weak car like that? But... Suddenly, I had an epiphany. Okay, got it. I'll do that. Thanks, Dad. Sure. The car will be delivered next week, so come and pick it up by then. I'll have it all cleaned up for you. All right. But Dad, this has to be your last indulgence, okay? Don't say that. A man's passion never ends, haha. Yeah. Thanks though. I hung up the phone with a sly smile on my face. And a few days later, my car changed. Lisa, did you get a new car? It looks cooler than the last one. Yes. Dad bought a new car and gave me his old one. It's cooler than the previous one, right? Yeah, it's cool. Let me borrow it this Saturday, okay? Sure, you can. It felt like a fish had bitten the bait. Then on Saturday, Brad took the car keys and left, only to return almost immediately. Hey, that car. What's wrong? It won't start? No, it's not that. I can't drive it. You can't drive it? Yeah. What's the matter? I drove it just fine yesterday. Well, it's a manual car. So? What's the issue? Well, I only have an automatic license. Oh. That's right. Haha. It's not funny. I can't drive now. It's a problem if I can't use a car. Why is that a problem? Shall I drive for you? No, that's also a problem. It's my day off, I don't want to bother you. Huh? It's fine by me. No, it's okay. I'll manage somehow. Really? Well, have a good day then. As if he could manage. Serves him right. The car my father gave me was a manual. I have a manual license, so it's no issue for me, but Brad only has an automatic license. Legally, he can't drive that car. Not to mention, he probably wouldn't know how to drive it. I knew he used my car for dates every week. I changed the car for that very reason. It's my car, in my name, I'm free to do as I please. Another serve him right moment. Then, a week before the wedding, I received a call and was summoned to a designated place. Hello, I'm Lisa. I greeted them. Ah, Lisa. Sorry to call you out like this. The person greeted me back. No problem. So, how did it go? Well, please have a seat. I'll explain everything. I was led to a conference room and took a seat. Regarding your request. Yes, this was a detective agency. I had asked them to investigate Brad's conduct. Regarding Brad, he's definitely been unfaithful. We've secured photos and videos. Would you like to see them? Yes, please show me. He took out a laptop, inserted a USB drive, and started playing the video. There they were, walking arm in arm, flirting, and then entering a hotel. The date and time of the video showed it was from the Saturday before last, in the afternoon. The photos showed them kissing, embracing, and more. Thank you, that's enough. I collected the evidence and left the agency. Though I had suspected infidelity, confronting the stark reality was hard. I contacted Emily and Hannah to meet at a pub. We got a private room and I showed them the evidence I received that day. Then our analysis meeting began. Wow, this is quite blatant. The photos are quite something too. They both commented. I've lost all sympathy for him. Now, it's time to completely crush him. I took a big sip of my beer. Hey, Lisa, can I borrow this? Emily asked. What for, Hannah? I was supposed to make a slideshow for the bride and groom. I'll just add these in. It's easy. All right. Now, we just wait for the big day. Emily raised her beer mug, let's do this, everyone, and we toasted. Everyone worked so hard for me, and I felt so touched that I almost cried, but I held it back. Then, the big day finally arrived. On the day of the wedding, it was hectic and busy from the morning. Upon arriving at the venue, makeup started immediately, followed by hairstyling and dressing. Everything proceeded according to schedule, regardless of my personal state. When I saw myself in the mirror wearing the white wedding dress, I realized I was living the dream I had always cherished. Yet, feeling this way while wearing it brought tears to my eyes. Mom said, now, a bride shouldn't cry before the ceremony. She wiped my tears. Sorry, Mom, these aren't happy tears. The ceremony ended, and the reception began. Before entering, Hannah gave me a reassuring smile. Brad was all smiles, oblivious. I could only manage a forced smile. The reception proceeded without a hitch. Then came the time for the bride's letter to her family. The room dimmed, and only my parents and I were spotlighted. I was handed the microphone. But I didn't read the letter. Turning to the audience, I began to speak calmly. Ladies and gentlemen gathered here today, thank you for coming. Normally, I would express my farewells and gratitude to my parents. And leave with the man I love. However, the room fell silent, taken aback by my unexpected speech. Hannah gave me an okay sign from the corner of the stage. The real bride is not me. As I declared this, the room burst into murmurs. The real bride is Megan, Brad's junior from college. He told me she is his true love. I have the proof. As I finished, the spotlight moved to one person in the audience. It shone on Megan. Then, upbeat music played, and a slideshow started. It showed them holding hands, kissing, and entering a hotel, one scene after another. Then the music stopped, and the video of that particular conversation scene started playing loudly. The venue immediately became chaotic. What's going on here? The groom needs to explain himself. Amidst the shouts, I handed the microphone to a pale-faced Brad, smiled to his parents, and stepped off the stage. I was then hurriedly pulled out of the venue by Emily and Hannah. Behind me, the commotion had become uncontrollable. Still in my dress, I was led by Hannah to an unused dressing room. Emily brought my belongings and clothes, and I quickly changed and left the wedding venue. Then, Emily drove me home in her car, and I finally had a moment to breathe. We did it. Haha, we sure did. Despite causing such a ruckus, I felt surprisingly exhilarated. After the dramatic events at the wedding, I packed my things and returned to my parents' home. I was scolded quite a bit by my parents when they returned, but since Brad was the cause, it wasn't too harsh. My father took care of the aftermath. Though the wedding was almost over, it ended in a breakup, so we had to return the gifts, but everyone understood the situation. And it was resolved smoothly. Brad had it tough. His infidelity was exposed, and with the wedding ruined, his parents had to pay all the expenses. Moreover, his boss was present, so his workplace found out. He had been emailing Megan during work hours, which led to his demotion. He wasn't fired but couldn't bear the work environment after such a scandal and soon quit. Meanwhile, Megan, the other woman, obviously couldn't end up with Brad after the fiasco, and they broke up. Since we had already completed the engagement rituals, I broke off the engagement and demanded compensation from Brad for emotional distress and other expenses. Brad had spent most of his savings on the wedding preparations, so his parents covered the costs. Without any particular skills, Brad struggled to find a full-time job again. He's currently working part-time to repay his debts. Of course, I also demanded compensation from Megan. She had been disowned by her parents for bad behavior and had no savings, so she borrowed money from a shady lender. Now, she's working in the nightlife industry to pay off her debt. While it doesn't fully compensate for the emotional pain I suffered, it feels somewhat just. I took a leave of absence from work, thanks to my father's kindness, and decided to travel to Alaska. In times like these, people tend to head north rather than south. Hannah, who had also played a role in the chaos, had quit her job at the venue. Feeling a bit guilty, I decided to invite her to Alaska with me. I paid for the trip with the compensation I received from Brad. We traveled by car and used the ferry for the round trip. On the return ferry, I befriended a pair of male bikers and exchanged contact details, agreeing to meet again in New York. The two were colleagues from the same company, making annual bike trips to Alaska. When I told Emily about this back in New York, she got mad at me for not inviting her. So now, we're planning a 3-on-3 group date, adding one more person to include Hannah. After everything, I've regained my spirits. Well, life is full of ups and downs. Such things happen, I tell myself, and I'm determined to keep moving forward. My name is Emily. I'm turning 35 this year. My only daughter is in elementary school and is going through a bit of a rebellious phase, but she's still adorable. My husband, Jason, and I have been married for over 10 years, and we get along well. However, the problem lies with his family. My husband has an older brother. Though they aren't far apart in age, their personalities are complete opposites. Compared to my straightforward and stubborn husband, his brother seems indecisive and timid. But, his brother has always done well academically, graduating from a prestigious university and working for a well-known company. 2 years after my husband and I got married, his brother introduced a woman he wanted to marry to us. She was flashy and, to put it bluntly, not very bright. Everyone thought she might be deceiving him, but he seemed happy to be with her. Thinking this was probably his only chance to marry. Given his shy nature, the parents reluctantly agreed to their marriage. Needless to say, this sister-in-law turned out to be a snake. 5 years ago, when my mother-in-law hurt her leg, we built a 2-family house and have been living there since. My mother-in-law often comes to me with her problems. My relationship with my mother-in-law is good. My daughter is attached to her, and despite her injured leg, she can manage her daily life quite well. So sometimes she looks after my daughter when I have errands to run. One day, when I went to share some fruit I got from my parents with my mother-in-law, an unbelievable incident occurred. As she answered a phone call, I could see her face becoming confused. I tilted my head, trying to gauge the situation, and what I heard was a loud voice on the other end of the phone. It sounded like a woman's voice, but I couldn't make out what was being said. My mother-in-law seemed to be listening to a one-sided conversation before hanging up. Putting down the receiver, she approached me with a troubled look. When I asked her what happened, she hesitated before speaking. "It was a call from Jennifer," she said. Jennifer was my brother-in-law's wife. Just hearing this name made me suspect it wasn't good news. Sure enough, she wanted to manage the in-laws' assets. My mother-in-law was confused about what she meant by managing their assets. Moreover, Jennifer said she'd come over the weekend to talk about it and hung up abruptly. Reluctantly, we discussed it with my father-in-law and my husband when they came home. My normally gentle father-in-law was furious when he heard about it. He tried calling my brother-in-law but couldn't reach him, which made him even angrier. My husband was upset too, but was more focused on calming down his father. We couldn't get in touch with my brother-in-law for the rest of the week, and the dreaded weekend arrived. In the morning, we saw my brother-in-law just parking his car outside. We quickly went to my in-laws. My brother-in-law's family entered the living room without proper greetings. They had 2 elementary school-aged boys who were poorly disciplined. Immediately after entering the living room, they started annoying my mother-in-law by demanding fruit juice and snacks. Their mother just laughed, saying they were energetic and good kids. When my father-in-law finally lost his patience and scolded them, they became quiet. Up until that point, my brother-in-law was like a ghost, as if he wasn't even there. That was what happened all the time. He never disciplined his children or addressed his wife's behavior. We sat down at the table, ready to hear what my brother-in-law had to say. But it was his wife, Jennifer, who started talking. She rambled on, so it was hard to understand what she was trying to say. Basically, she was asking to let her manage all of the in-laws' finances. My in-laws were still quite healthy, so it was baffling why she suddenly started saying such a thing. My husband, curious, asked his brother to clarify, but before he could speak, Jennifer cut him off and started explaining. She mentioned a friend whose in-laws had suddenly passed away in an accident, and soon after the funeral, it was discovered that they had debts. She heard from her friend that it was a difficult situation. She was claiming that the same could happen to us and that she should manage the finances just in case. My father-in-law was the first to shout in anger. "Are you trying to say we're in debt?" Even I flinched at his words, but Jennifer was totally unfazed. "Well, that too, but if something happens, we're the ones who will be in trouble. As the wife of your elder son, I should manage everything. So there won't be any issue when it comes to dividing the assets, right?" I was almost impressed by her audacity to say such a thing. However, of course, my father-in-law wouldn't have it. After a moment of difficulty, he sighed and looked at Jennifer. He then told her that he would stop sending money for the children's birthdays and Christmas, which he had always done. My brother-in-law's family lived about 2 hours away by car and rarely visited. Apparently, my in-laws tried to treat my daughter and their grandchildren equally by sending them money so they could buy whatever they liked. Hearing this, Jennifer became enraged. "If that's what you want, fine. But I won't take care of you and your wife ever again." We were all dumbfounded. After all, Jennifer had never once taken care of the in-laws. She never brought them any gifts when she visited, and always behaved like a guest. She would also let her children run wild, and they are always demanding things like, "I want to eat this" or "I want that." She hadn't even contacted the in-laws when my mother-in-law was hospitalized with her leg injury. After a moment of silence, my father-in-law calmly said, "Then we'll need you to return the car to us as well." The car my brother-in-law's family arrived in was bought by the in-laws. Initially, Jennifer only asked for things for the children, but at some point, she requested financial help to buy a car. My father-in-law was reluctant, but she pleaded that it was inconvenient without a car as the children were growing up, so eventually, the in-laws bought it for them. Jennifer really liked that car, and since commuting by car, my brother-in-law would really struggle without it. My brother-in-law and his wife went pale. "But, Dad, that's going to be a problem." Finally, my usually invisible brother-in-law spoke up. After that, my father-in-law started lecturing, and once again, my brother-in-law looked down. Jennifer became quiet, but then my father-in-law's next words turned things upside down. "Buy a car that you can afford yourself." As everyone nodded in agreement, Jennifer suddenly slammed the table and stood up. "Your son is good for nothing. Then she started talking. I married him because he graduated from a famous university and works at a well-known company. I was only attracted to his status. We were stunned by her outrageous statements. Although he's always at work and barely comes home, his salary isn't even good. With what he makes, I can't live the luxurious life I envisioned. I was hearing this for the first time, and even my husband looked shocked. After that, Jennifer continued to complain about my brother-in-law. Then, she shifted her target to the in-laws. Maybe you raised him wrong. I am a suitable wife for the firstborn son, aren't I? You should be grateful that I married into this family. I just want to know what kind of upbringing you gave him. Unexpectedly, someone stood up. Enough. It was my brother-in-law. Don't talk about my parents like that. Everyone looked at him in surprise. He had always been the kind of person who couldn't speak his mind. He was grateful to his parents for supporting him through college. He wanted to reassure his parents who had been concerned, especially when his younger brother got married before him. I knew you were only attracted to my status. I hoped that might change if I did my best to meet your expectations. All that was in vain. But I didn't want to worry Mom and Dad. My brother-in-law spoke with a hint of sadness. When Mom hurt her leg, I asked you many times to let me visit her, but you refused, saying it was a waste of travel expenses. When the idea of building a two-family house came up, I was keen to live with Mom and Dad to support, as I am the firstborn son. But you wouldn't hear of it. In the end, we had to leave everything to Jason and Emily, which made me feel guilty. Hearing this, my mother-in-law became tearful. But Jennifer wouldn't stop. Then why did you even come here today? Frustrated with Jennifer, I just observed without interfering. My brother-in-law sighed and calmly began. Jennifer, I want a divorce. The next moment, a sharp sound echoed. Jennifer slapped my brother-in-law in the face. What are you talking about? My husband, who had been silent until then, finally intervened. My brother-in-law said he was tired of his earnings being squandered. Then, Jennifer's lifestyle came to light. A housewife fond of flashy things. She would buy designer items, frequent spas, and brag about all that when she went out for lavish lunch with friends. It seemed to be her hobby. To spend more on herself than on her children. There's never enough money for that kind of lifestyle. My brother-in-law's anger exploded. He then laid out the photos he took out from his bag, confronting her. How do you explain this? Jennifer's face stiffened. They were evidence of her having affairs. Having affairs, spending the money I earned, and now trying to get your hands on my parents' assets. He came to discuss divorce on that day. He thought discussing it in front of everyone would prevent her from manipulating the situation. Jennifer started apologizing profusely. My brother-in-law's decision seemed final, with all the evidence against her. Emily, say something. Suddenly, she grabbed my arm. You've had an affair or two, haven't you, Emily? I was about to retort, but my husband was quicker. Don't ever disrespect my wife. Scolded by my husband, Jennifer sat down. Finally, I spoke up. Is it normal to have affairs with the money your husband earns? Are you insane? What's with this being the firstborn son's wife? Have you ever contributed anything to your family? I love both my family and Jason's. I've never even thought of doing anything to make them sad. I know you wouldn't understand that. Everyone nodded in agreement. Just leave. My brother-in-law demanded, throwing her purse out of the house. 3 months later, divorced, he asked for a transfer to another location at work, which wasn't far from where we all lived. And moved into a nearby apartment with his kids. It was tough for every one of us at first, having to deal with undisciplined kids. But they quickly learned how to behave and turned out to be quite obedient. My daughter, who initially didn't like them, is now playing the big sister, teaching them various things. My brother-in-law seems to have changed since that incident. The in-laws are relieved to see the change in him. As for Jennifer, she moved in with her boyfriend, who soon kicked her out for not bringing money to him. Showing she was valued only for money, just as she had valued my brother-in-law only for his status. Jennifer apparently returned to her parents' home, but when they learned about her affair, they were furious. Under their strict supervision, she's now working multiple part-time jobs in her hometown to pay back the money she spent on herself over the years. According to my brother-in-law, the payments are being made regularly. He says that Jennifer often contacts him asking to see the children. However, the kids consistently say they don't want to see their mom. Given her preoccupation with her boyfriend and neglect of the children, it's no surprise they feel that way. As for me, I fell for my husband all over again after the way he stood up for me and what he said to Jennifer that day. Having my brother-in-law's kids around all the time is like having sons, which is fun. I love my daughter, but I often wondered if having a son would be more fun. And guess what? I'm expecting a baby boy this summer. Despite the turmoil caused by Jennifer, I feel quite satisfied with how everything turned out. The in-laws are still very much active, and we're all happy to be in a big, happy family.